And at 10, RWQFSFASXC. Shadow Bonnie makes an appearance in FNAF 2, but is more so a main character in FNAF 3, where the character makes an ultimate appearance as a glitched out minigame character, and a statue that you need to click on to enable the glitched minigame. It's weird. Shadow Bonnie has also made an appearance in the FNAF AR game. This character has been all over, and WRQFSFASXC is just a pitch black version of Bonnie with glowing eyes and teeth. That's pretty much it, and it's pretty weird when you think about it. And maybe this is like the concept behind the red jump scare in FNAF VR. That could just be Shadow Bonnie, although I can't be quite sure. No matter, being just a void of pitch black energy can make any animatronic scary, and honestly we don't know how Shadow RWQFF whatever it is came into being. There are some theories about it, that it was someone who got spring locked in the suit before Afton, or that someone else got killed, but we don't know for sure, and that's what makes it even scarier. And at 9, Withered Bonnie. The original Withered animatronic. Withered Bonnie also hails from FNAF 2, where the original 5 were broken and dismantled. Withered Bonnie is the original nightmare animatronic, missing a face and only having 2 red dots for eyes. This would give any of us nightmares when we first saw it enter our office. Withered Bonnie has multiple rows of teeth, which is confusing to me, because why would an animatronic that's meant to be an entertainer in a children's pizzeria need more than 1 row of teeth? But I mean, after the FNAF 4 bite, I think we all know that Afton just built these to kill. Withered Bonnie is pretty spooky, but considering how it's like the second one on this list, things only get worse from here. Okay, I can't really put it anywhere like higher or I guess lower on the list depending on how you think about it, but like especially when there's even scarier ones, and one of those is from FNAF World. And at 8, White Rabbit. The White Rabbit is a version of Bonnie first appearing in FNAF World, and I think that's enough, okay? The fact that it was in FNAF World makes it scary. And while this game is probably the least respected and most hated in the series, my god is this White Rabbit thing terrifying. This is like a miniature version of Bonnie. That's not that bad, right? Well, this thing is completely white and has sunken black eyes with no pupils. Yeah, that makes this thing look freaking terrifying. I don't care that you're going to go to the comments and complain that this character is on here, okay? You know, it happens every time. There's always at least one person, probably around 5, who say like, oh, this blank isn't scary, why are they on this list? Okay, scary is subjective, so shove it, okay? And I'll tell you where you can shove it. Because it's my list. Okay, you can't change the list after it's been posted, so deal with it. This little white rabbit is one of the scariest Bonnie versions in the series, and it's only higher on the list because it was in FNAF World. Like, if it was something like in FNAF 4, or like a main title in the series, it would have been scarier, especially putting it in a situation like maybe Withered Bonnie, but nevertheless, it still deserves the spotlight, because if it was in an actual game, holy crap. And at 6, Easter Bonnie. Easter Bonnie, aside from being the best pun the series has ever released, is probably the kind of bunny your parents would make you sit with at the mall, but you'd be crying the whole time. Oh. Like Matt from In the Flesh, one of the other Fazbear Frights novels, okay, in Bunny Call. Yeah, which is totally meant to be a fanfic about MatPat. Like, was this his way of asking MatPat if he wanted to work on the next game? Like, are these Scott's deepest fantasies? It doesn't matter, okay? But this bunny is creepy. This version of Bonnie hails from FNAF AR Special Delivery and is basically like White Bonnie, but with glowing blue eyes, a glowing red mouth, yellow bow tie, and an egg pattern on his stomach. I can't really explain why I find this so unsettling. Perhaps because I constantly get chocolate bunnies around Easter and I don't want to think about eating an animatronic that's trying to kill me. But there's also a chocolate Bonnie, from what I can tell, but that one is meant to be eaten, so it doesn't scare me as much. I prefer like the Mr. Munchie ones that are like filled with kind of like Rice Krispies kind of things. I prefer those over the hollow ones. The hollow ones just make me feel empty inside, pun intended. Halfway through, in at number 5, Ignited Bonnie. Remember when I said it would get even more meta? Well, here we are, with the meta levels rising above even Central City. Because Ignited Bonnie comes from the joy of creation, a FNAF fan game where you play as Scott Cawthon in the real world. Yes, in this game, you play as the creator of FNAF himself after he retires the series, 2 years after the release of the first game. So at least it's not real life. The animatronics don't like that though, and somehow break out of the game to attack Scott, his family, and Michael Afton, who also escaped. This game is also getting a new version as a part of the Fazbear Fanverse initiative, and honestly I'm excited to see what's coming. I mean, I'm probably not going to play it, but I'm excited to see it. The Joy of Creation is seen as one of the scariest FNAF fan games, so it's obvious why it would get a new funded version. I feel like Scott also liked the idea of being a playable character, because I know I sure as hell would. Like, it would give me a much needed ego boost. Actually, at this point, it's not really needed. I'm feeling damn good. It would be fun though. I want to play as myself, so that for once, I'm the one playing me instead of being played by others. Maybe I'm not okay. In it for Nightmare Bonnie. Nightmare Bonnie is absolutely freaking terrifying, okay? Like, have you seen those goddamn teeth? I don't know how that little kid was able to imagine this kind of thing when he was in a coma. I still don't think that it was sound discs that were making him see it. Either way, he was in a coma, but like, holy ever-loving crap, this series has some messed up. I've never really been scared of Bonnie, alright? That's not something that I've had to deal with. But some of these are just unsettling, but nothing has really been like, oh crap, I'm not gonna sleep. But Nightmare Bonnie puts me on edge of that. I'm going to have a decent amount of nightmares. So I guess the name checks out. I would have included Twisted Bonnie on this list, but there isn't any real official art of the character, and I don't want to screw over the editor who may even be me. Actually, it's not going to be me. And I don't want to end up screwing over the editor and having to cause them to use a load of fan art, because we're trying to cut back on that on this channel, because, you know, we never use fan art at all. But like, that's aside the point. Nightmare Bonnie has also been torn to pieces, like any man after they see Ryan Reynolds, okay? Like, how are we supposed to measure up to that? Nightmare Bonnie is one of the real living embodiments of fear, and you know what, these next few aren't gonna make it any easier on my sanity. Getting close to the end, in number 3, Nightmare Bonnie. Nightmare Bonnie is absolutely freaking terrifying, okay? Have you seen those goddamn teeth? I don't know what little kid was able to imagine this kind of thing while in a coma, if it was the sound discs that were making him see it in a coma or what, but like, holy living crap, this is some messed up garbage. I've never really been scared of Bonnie, okay? Some of these are unsettling, but nothing has really been holy crap, I'm not gonna sleep. But Nightmare Bonnie is literally going to give me plenty of nightmares. Well, I guess the name checks out then. I would have included Twisted Bonnie on this list, but there's not much official art of the character, and I don't want to screw over the editor, who may be me having to do this, and I don't want to make him use a load of fan art, because, you know, we never use fan art. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Technically, fan art's illegal because you're using the IP that you don't own, but that's aside the point. Nightmare Bonnie has been torn to pieces like every man after seeing Chris Evans. Like, how are we supposed to measure up? Yes, pun 100% intended. Nightmare Bonnie is one of the real living embodiments of fear, and these next two aren't gonna make it any easier for my sanity, which is already depleting because the goddamn series. Penultimately, in at number 2, System Error Bonnie. System Error Bonnie, or System Error Toy Bonnie, depending on what you want to call it, is one of the goddamn creepiest animatronics in these freaking games. This animatronic is completely red and appears to be glitching, similarly to how Glitchtrap glitches in FNAF VR before you end up defeating him. This thing is probably the creepiest form of Toy Bonnie ever, and it doesn't actually help that it looks menacing. The System Error version of Bonnie is more aggressive. It's angrier, or at least it seems that way, and I can't really explain how this is creepy, you just need to know. I saw it and I immediately knew that it had to be higher on the list, okay? I don't even know about it. I didn't even know about it until I was making a version of this list a long time ago, okay? Maybe I should play FNAF AR, although I don't really want to. I don't have room for it. Finally, in at number 1, Toxic Springtrap. Okay, I didn't include normal Springtrap on this list because officially, thanks to the man in room 1280 from Bunny Call, it is confirmed that William Afton was alive in the suit, thanks to the kid who possessed the body, who kept him alive and kept him from dying because he wanted William to suffer, aka the one you should not have killed, aka crying child. Everyone kept saying that, like, how would William be alive after 30 years? And you know what? I was right. So stop it. Stop telling me that I was wrong, because I know that I'm right. Damn it. Anyway, Toxic Springtrap from FNAF AR Special Delivery is just... I don't know, okay? He's a variation of the character instead of being the real Springtrap, but he's still being shipped out to families. How? Why are you shipping out versions of your dead serial killer? It does not make sense. I don't know the lore behind it, and I could be wrong, but it appears as if Toxic Springtrap is a separate entity to Springtrap, but it does act more aggressively, whereas things like Flaming Springtrap act the exact same as normal one, which would have to be, maybe they would be canon in that sense, thanks to FNAF 6, and then Burn Trap, like maybe this is like the in-between stage, I don't know. Okay, Toxic Springtrap has wart-like bubbles all over his skin that appear to be some form of poison that bubbles up to the surface, something like that. It's really gross, it's really nasty, it puts me on edge, but at least it's not as toxic as my ex. In 10, Nightmare Withered Bonnie. Imagine Withered Bonnie, but on illicit substances that I can't mention on YouTube, and you have Nightmare Withered Bonnie. Withered Bonnie is already scary enough with the beating red eyes and the rundown visuals. Even if it's just a Nightmare Bonnie with Withered Bonnie's style face, it would already be terrifying, and we all know how Scott feels about normal Bonnie. And in the Nightmare version, he's already crapping himself. And then, add a Withered version, and then this is the reason he retired. There, I said it, okay? Not because of any controversy or him being tired of making games or wanting to make other games for his kids, but because of Nightmare Withered Bonnie. It's an ungodly creation that must be stopped. In 9, Funtime Bonnie. The Funtime animatronics were introduced in Sister Location, the 5th game in the series. However, Bonnie was actively missing from that lineup. Aside from a couple of small hand puppet versions that are unsettling on their own, this left a rabbit-shaped hole in our hearts. So Funtime Bonnie was created. Well, was created by the fans. We don't think that there is a Funtime Bonnie that exists in the lore, like how Chica was just rented out. But if you've watched other lists about fan versions, you'll know that the Funtimes always creep me out. The ability for them to move their faces is wrong, and it's really the selling point to me for why they're scary. Aside from the lore. In at 8, Nightmare Glamrock Bonnie. Yet another set of animatronics without any Bonnie representation. The security breach Glamrock animatronics, from what we've seen, I mean they might add in DLC, but we don't have originally a Glamrock Bonnie. He really only appears as the mascot of bowling. However, fans have yet again made Glamrock versions of Bonnie, but those weren't really scary. So in classic FNAF fashion, if you want something to be scary, you just throw the word nightmare in front of the name, and boom, you have an ungodly abomination that will eat your soul and devour your balls. And I mean like Faz balls, like from the ball pit, okay? I don't know, go with it, okay? Nevertheless, Nightmare Glamrock Bonnie looks exactly how you'd expect a Nightmare version of Glamrock Bonnie to look, with shoulder pads. That's the scariest part about it. And it's 7, Glitchtrap. Glitchtrap is the sentient code version of Bonnie from the VR game FNAF Help Wanted, where he serves as the main antagonist of the game and the reincarnation of William Afton after his soul latched onto a circuit board or hard drive containing usable code. He manifests in game and is somehow able to control certain aspects. He is somehow able to interact with the endings of the game, being the one to stuff us into the Freddy suit. It's weird, he wasn't supposed to be in the game, so why does he have such an important role in the end of the game? Maybe he just made a different version of Glitchtrap, like the suit is just it was a character in the game, but he made a separate version, so he kind of copied and pasted it and then possessed that one, maybe. When he starts dancing after he kills us and stuffs us in the suit again, that is cringe. That's worse than my dancing, and that's saying a lot. Glitchtrap is also supposed to be reminiscent of the first suit that William Afton used to kill. The stitch marks on the suit, on the joints, indicate that. And he's really off-putting, okay? Knowing that this is the first instance that William kills someone just really sets me on edge. It's scary in another kind of way, the kind of way that sticks with you long after you've closed the game. Especially when we just saw him lure us into a dark room behind a curtain. Yeah. And you know what, if you want to complain, screw you, it's still a version of Bonnie. And it's 6, Havoc Bonnie. Here we go, the good old classic Dormitibus. The default game for any scary animatronics list. Known as probably the most disturbing FNAF fan game, Dormitibus takes place before FNAF 4 and FNAF 5 even came out. So before the official active name reveal as well as the Nightmare animatronics. But this is honestly worse than the Nightmare animatronics, in my humble opinion. The thing is, Havoc Bonnie wasn't even in the original Dormitibus. Yeah, this is a fan creation based on a fan game, making it one of the most meta versions of Bonnie on this list. Although there is another one that's even more meta, but I'll get to that later. And the fact that the Dormitibus based version of Bonnie is only number 6 should speak volumes. And no, it's not at number 6 only because it wasn't in the original game, okay? The original game is really messed up. So it's kind of a good thing that it wasn't there. I suggest looking it up if you're over the age of 16 at least. Like, kids should not be looking at that kind of thing, okay? It's messed up, honestly. Like, not even a joke. It's in it for Nightmare Toy Bonnie. I thought that the Nightmare versions couldn't get any worse, yet here we are. I remember someone commenting on an alternate fan versions of Chica list a long time ago, saying that it was more like a fan versions of Toy Chica list. But the toy animatronics are just other versions of the originals, okay? So it wasn't a different list, it's the same thing. So don't pester me about it this time around, goddammit. Nightmare Toy Bonnie is a monstrosity that just needs to be banished to the depths of hell from which it came, and then sent by Satan from hell to like the empty or something because he just doesn't want to deal with it. And I would understand why. Looking this up, I didn't think I'd be as frightened as I was, but holy ever loving living crap. This actually kind of shocked me how terrifying it was. The toy aesthetic just seems to make these versions worse. Like, I don't know what it is. It's just the toy animatronics as nightmares just make the absolute scariest versions. I swear, I don't know what it is. It works so well together. If you have any theories as to why this is a thing, let me know in the comments because, like, Jesus. And also, yes, I have a band-aid on my thumb, okay? I was removing supports off 3D print and I was being stupid about it, so I gashed my thumb. And when I say it was deep. Getting close to the end, in at number 3, Blacklight Bonnie. And the reason I have it is because I need to inspect hotel rooms. No, not really. It was because of a Halloween party, because black lights make things seem scarier. I don't know why, but they do. Now, having a whole animatronic surrounding this concept is just going to be terrifying, especially when their main color is pink. The Blacklight animatronics were at first just released in toys as promotion for Help Wanted, but they do actually technically make an appearance. The only reason we know they exist, however, is because of the toys. The Blacklights make their debut in the animatronic repair hard mode, which is basically just the same thing but with hardly any light, so we don't actually see that they're Blacklight, but apparently they are truly the Blacklights. But either way, bright, eccentrically colored animatronics will scare anyone who lives in the dark and is scared of adding color to their wardrobe, like my sister. Only she will understand that joke because she dresses like a bat on the regular. Or no, she doesn't dress like a bat, she dresses like she wants to be a bat. Either way, again, it's a long story, alright, and I don't really want to tell it, but it's still weird, especially if you're like what was the phobia of colors? If you're chromophobic? If you're chromophobic, black lights are even worse, so there you go. And ultimately, in at number 2, Draw Kill Bonnie. Draw Kill Bonnie was actually a version I was recommended on previous videos. Multiple comments suggested that I look up the Draw Kill animatronics, and honestly, I'm glad you told me, because goddamn, this thing is menacing. Called Bonnie Bot by Draw Kill on DeviantArt, it's a disproportionate Bonnie robot that is made to look like metal. Like, we all know how I feel about disproportionate things as well, aside from Funko Pops, because those are blessed. They always end up being more off-putting than normal, okay? And the hands on this thing are gigantic, which just makes me think that it's going to crush me and then like use its arm like a hammer, like one of the infected from Back for Blood, you know that one? The one with the tower arm? Yeah, that thing. Or it's just gonna keep wailing on me until I'm either pulverized or 6 feet under. Literally 6 feet under. It'll punch me into the earth. These Draw Kill animatronics are damn terrifying, and I'm really thankful for your recommendations. So if you have any other animatronics that you want me to check out for characters that maybe I haven't covered yet, or if you have any characters that you want to see alternate fan versions of, let me know in the comments, because that's really helpful. My brain is kind of like packed at capacity, and again, I use like the same 10 keywords over and over looking for these. I always type in nightmare and nightmare toy and you know, those kinds of things. So yeah, Draw Kill is definitely in the reservoir, so it's like 11 words, but please. And finally, in at number 1, Slasher Bonnie. Yet another recommendation from the comments. Slasher Bonnie will haunt my nightmares for years. As if I wasn't scared enough about playing the guitar, Slasher Bonnie turns that into an actual fear by making the guitar a giant axe. So, thanks PlayStation Jedi on DeviantArt. Thanks for causing more restless nights than my axe. This damn guitar axe thing is so goddamn creepy, especially because there is literally blood dripping off of it. I don't know what else to say. I feel like the picture says it all. If a picture says 1,000 words, I would need like 2 pictures in my script, and then that would be the video, okay? Because my scripts are usually around 2,000 words long, which is significantly more than most people, okay? I talk fast. But also, it's why I don't have time for comments. because I take too long to film a video anyway, okay? Just as long as you keep Slasher Bonnie away from me, I think I'll be okay, though. Although the Slasher animatronics will be making more appearances if I do talk about these more. Because god damn it, have you seen like the Chica version? It has a bib that says let's kill instead of let's eat. And like, I love Chica, don't get me wrong, but I feel like that might be a little much. In at 7, FNAF Plus Bonnie. FNAF Plus is an in-development fan game being funded by the Fazbear Fanverse Initiative. And as I described in the video about the Fanverse timeline, this is probably the deviation point from the main timeline, with other events largely remaining the same if not identical. However, this version of not only Bonnie but the other two as well are just plain creepy, man. Like if Funko Pops could actually kill you and wanted to, this is what it would happen. Not sponsored, but like Funko, we can talk, okay? I have too many. The structure of the head, though, is honestly best described as a Funko Pop vinyl figure, with a wide jaw that would slay any mother who walked in with their kids for their birthday party, but it's so creepy and off-putting, okay? They certainly nailed the creepier and darker theme that they seem to be going for with these remakes, because these set me on edge really badly, okay? They put me on edge so bad, I'm Lady Gaga. I'm on the edge of terror, not glory. But trust me, looking at these horrifying versions is not glorious in the slightest. Halfway through in at number 5, Jacko Bonnie. Jacko Bonnie is one damn wascally wabbit. The animatronic is like your typical Bonnie, however, is missing flesh in all the right places, and that's not like actually meant to sound like that. Okay, I don't know if I should even be calling it flesh. Like, it's not flesh, but it's their version of flesh, you know? Like, to him it's flesh, but like, does that make it okay to call it flesh? Whatever, I'm gonna call it flesh. He glows orange from the inside and he glows hard, like harder than the chorus of All-Star. This animatronic is scary and one of the most intimidating animatronics in the entire series. The only reason it's not higher on the list is because he's not very present within the games. Okay, it makes an appearance in FNAF 4's Halloween update, and then in FNAF VR's helpy sections of the Pirate Cove ride and Curse of Dreadbear, but other than that, we don't really see him. And when they are in the game, they're not really that intimidating. But that's because I'm really in control of the outcome, and if I get jump scared, it's my fault and not the fault of some weird game mechanic, like the doors not working how they should. Yeah, that's right. I'm still mad about that. I will always be mad about that. And at 4, Blacklight Bonnie. I have a blacklight, and the reason I have it is because I had it for a Halloween party, because blacklights seem to make everything scarier. I don't know how, but they do. Now, having a whole animatronic surrounding this concept is going to be terrifying, especially when the main color is pink, such a scary color. The blacklight animatronics were first just released as toys in promotion for Help Wanted, but they actually do make an appearance. The only reason we know they exist, however, is because of the toys. The blacklights made their debut in the animatronic repair hard mode, which is basically just the same thing but with hardly any light. So we can't actually see the animatronics, but apparently they are truly the blacklights. But either way, bright, eccentrically colored animatronics will scare anyone who lives in the dark and is scared of adding color to their wardrobe, like my sister. Only she will understand that joke, and she doesn't watch these videos because she doesn't support her brother, so that's probably wasted. It's a long story. It's not really, but I just don't want to tell it. Getting close to the end, and at number 3, Sinister Bonnie. You know how earlier I said that if you want something to be scary, you just add nightmare in front of it? Well, there's about 10 different words that you can use over and over again, and then you'll get the same thing, okay? Because if you know these lists, you knew that Sinister Bonnie was bound to make an appearance, because Sinister is just one of those words. From the unfinished, unreleased, and cancelled fan game Sinister Turmoil, we have Sinister Bonnie, an animatronic best described as a repaired nightmare version. With teeth sharper than Eminem's lyrics and an overall demeanor more intimidating than Will Smith at the Oscars, this animatronic is some pure nightmare fuel, and it's clear to see why. Every time I see one of these Sinister animatronics, I'm glad that the game didn't release. Like, not because it wouldn't have been good. I'm sure the game would have been amazing, but because I don't have to interact with these animatronics anywhere. Like, other than images, okay? But they can't hurt me through images. And that's what really matters to me in the long run. Avoiding being scared at all costs. I still don't get why people like being scared, okay? Maybe it's like a kink thing, if you ask me. I feel like it probably is. Fear evolved to protect us, okay? Being scared is a bad thing. Nevertheless, these things are just so wrong, but so right. At least, so right in the scare department, and wrong for my pants, because at this point, these pants are brown, and the laundry room also smells atrocious. Penultimately, in at number 2, Toxic Springtrap. I didn't include normal Springtrap on this list because officially, thanks to the man in room 1280 from Bunny Call, it is confirmed that William Afton was always alive, thanks to a kid who possessed his body who kept him from dying because he wanted William to suffer more. Everyone kept saying, so you think William was able to stay alive for 30 years behind a wall after getting spring-locked? And every time I said that it wasn't an animatronic, because it's a human who was alive controlling the suit. And I kept saying that it's not the most outlandish thing in the series, and look, I was right. Confirmed. Springtrap is not an animatronic, okay? I needed to gloat. However, Toxic Springtrap from FNAF AR Special Delivery is, because he is a variation on the character instead of being the real Springtrap. Now, I could be wrong here, I haven't played Special Delivery and I don't know the lore behind this, but it appears as if Toxic Springtrap is a separate entity because he does act more aggressively, whereas Flaming Springtrap acts the exact same and would have a canon explanation thanks to the FNAF 6 ending, if he did catch fire at least. Toxic Springtrap has wart-like bubbles all over his skin that appear to be some form of poison that bubbles or something like that. I don't know, it's really gross and nasty and puts me on edge. He's purple, he's like sludge, it's not okay. Finally, in at number 1, System Error Bonnie. System Error Bonnie, or System Error Toy Bonnie, depending on what you want to call it, is one of the creepiest goddamn animatronics in these damn games. Okay, this animatronic is completely red and appears to be glitching, similarly to how Glitchtrap glitches in FNAF VR before you defeat him. This thing is probably the creepiest form of Toy Bonnie ever, and it doesn't help that it looks so menacing. The system error version of Bonnie is more aggressive, it's angrier, at least it seems that way. I can't explain how this is so creepy, okay? I just saw it and immediately knew it had to be number 1. I didn't even know about it until this list. Maybe I should play FNAF AR on the channel. I don't know, I need room for that though. My apartment's a mess, so I can't do it there.